2,000 years ago, Paris did not exist. There were no shining boulevards, no Eiffel Tower, no city of romance, only a small muddy island in the middle of a river, where a forgotten tribe called the Parisii lived. But over the centuries, this tiny settlement would witness Roman conquest, medieval kings, brutal revolutions, world wars, and the rise of modern civilization. Empires would rise and fall here. Kings would rule and lose their heads. Revolutions would ignite that changed the entire world. Yet somehow, Paris survived it all, from a tribal village to one of the most powerful cultural capitals in human history. This is the incredible story of Paris.
Please watch full video and subscribe channel.
Imagine standing on the banks of the Seine River, watching boats glide across the water while the Eiffel Tower rises in the distance, lights reflecting across the city. Today, Paris is known as the City of Light, a global symbol of romance, art, culture, and elegance. But thousands of years ago, Paris was nothing more than a small settlement surrounded by forests and river islands. The story of Paris begins more than 2,000 years ago, when a Celtic tribe called the Parisii lived along the Seine River. They were traders and fishermen, who built a small community on an island in the river, which is now known as Île de la Cité, the historic heart of modern Paris. The river was their lifeline. It allowed trade with neighboring tribes and provided protection from enemies. But everything changed in 52 BC. The powerful Roman general Julius Caesar conquered the region during the Gallic Wars. Under Roman rule, the settlement was renamed Lutetia. The Romans transformed the small tribal town into a proper Roman city. They built roads, bathhouses, temples, and an amphitheater. Stone buildings replaced wooden huts, and Roman culture slowly blended with the local traditions. For centuries, Lutetia remained a modest Roman town. But when the Roman Empire began to collapse in the 5th century, new powers began to rise across Europe. One of them was the Frankish kingdom. In 508 AD, the Frankish king Clovis the Fern made Paris his capital. This decision would change the destiny of the city forever. During the Middle Ages, Paris began to grow rapidly. Churches, markets, and stone houses appeared across the city. One of the most important landmarks of medieval Paris was the construction of Notre Dame Cathedral, which began in 1163. For nearly 2 centuries, builders worked to create one of the most magnificent Gothic cathedrals in Europe. Around the same time, Paris also became an intellectual center. The University of Paris, founded in the 12th century, attracted scholars and students from across Europe. By the late Middle Ages, Paris had become one of the largest and most important cities in Europe. However, the city also faced dark times. During the 100 Years' War between France and England, Paris experienced political turmoil and foreign occupation. Later, waves of plague and famine struck the population, but Paris always rebuilt itself. In the épée, centuries that followed, French kings transformed the city with grand palaces and wide streets. Art, philosophy, and science flourished. Then came one of the most dramatic moments in the city's history. In 1789, the people of Paris sparked the French Revolution. Crowds stormed the Bastille prison, a symbol of royal power. This event ignited a revolution that would change not only France but the entire world. The monarchy fell. Kings were executed, and the idea of modern democracy began to spread across Europe. In the 19th century, Paris underwent another massive transformation. Under Napoleon III, the city was redesigned by architect Georges-Eugène Haussmann. Narrow medieval streets were replaced with the wide boulevards that still define Paris today. Grand avenues, elegant buildings, public parks, and modern infrastructure turned Paris into one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Then, in 1889, a new structure rose above the skyline, a massive iron tower built for the World's Fair. At first, many people hated it, but over time, the Eiffel Tower became the most famous landmark in Paris and one of the most recognized structures on Earth. The 20th century brought both tragedy and triumph. During World War II, Nazi Germany occupied Paris in 1940. For 4 long years, the city lived under occupation. But in 1944, Allied forces and the French resistance liberated Paris, restoring freedom to the city. After the war, Paris continued to grow as a global center of art, fashion, literature, and culture. Artists, writers, and thinkers from around the world came to the city to find inspiration. Today, Paris stands as one of the most visited cities on Earth. Millions of people walk its streets each year, visiting landmarks like the Eiffel Tower, the Louvre Museum, Notre Dame Cathedral, and the Champs-Élysées. But beyond the beauty of its architecture and monuments, Paris is a city shaped by centuries of history, a city that survived wars, revolutions, occupations, and transformations, from a small Celtic settlement on a river island to one of the most influential cities in human history. This is the story of Paris,